Thanks, Aaron. For 8 years, the District 14 6A title ran through Spring Westfield. That was until last year when their district foe, the Spring Lions, took that crown from them on a final play Hail Mary. And tonight, Coach Matt Meekins and his Westfield Mustangs are looking for one thing. That's revenge. And we can see that at Planet Ford Stadium tonight. But before then, let's whip it around to Paige Schnorbach in Houston. Paige?
Ashley Pickle is there because the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Game of the Week always seems to be, as Tepper calls it, a bona fide banger pickle. And I feel like I'm going to ask you the same question I literally just asked Austin Ivan earlier in the show. It's the same sort of scenario. We know the emotions are high tonight, but curious to know what the week leading up was like for both sides in terms of the preparation and the approach. And then again, the memory of what happened a year ago.
That memory that happened a year ago of that Hail Mary and Spring Westfield had really just dominated District 14 6A, 8 consecutive district titles, and to lose it in that type of fashion to your district foe, I can promise you that Matt Meekins and this Mustang squad, when they came out tonight, they are out here looking for blood, guys. There was chirping before the game. There was a mindset of, we are not letting this happen again. We are going to run District 14 6A. We're bringing that crown back to Westfield. And it's been really interesting. And what's funny about it is I asked Matt Meekins earlier this week, I said, on Friday, before you step out onto the field, kind of what's the message to your guys? And he was like, nothing, absolutely nothing. He goes, if they don't understand what this game means, then there ain't anything I can say to get them to understand just how big this is. On the other side of it, Trent Miller, we were in the locker room for Spring beforehand listening to his pregame speech, and he told his guys he was very calm, very collected, and he goes, hey, remember 2 years ago, 37-0. They tried to embarrass us at U of H. Remember that. That's all he told his team. Remember that feeling and what that made you feel like. And both teams tonight coming out, and you can tell how much fun of a rivalry game this is for both of these teams. Aaron.
Hey, Ashley, it's Greg from work. I want to ask you about the quarterback matchup in this one. You got the Utah State commit in Bishop Davenport on the spring side, Cardell Williams, the Tulsa commit for Westfield, both going at it, a 3-year starter there in Williams. But let's focus a little bit on Bishop Davenport for a moment. What have you seen from the quarterback? Obviously, a pick six to start it, but seemed like he bounced back pretty strongly.
Well, as everyone knows, Tepper, this is your Texas high school football man crush, and it's completely understandable as to why that is. Bishop Davenport is a very, very special player, and an uncharacteristic interception there to start the game, but you could tell on that next drive with that touchdown, he's back and he's calm and collected, and what Coach said that he worked so hard for over the offseason was, one, his body. I mean, he's a big guy, 6'1", 195 pounds. He's got the size, but that extra 15 pounds came in over the season, and he said he knew he needed to get a little bit bigger. He needed to be a little bit more physical in his game. But the other thing he really worked on in between last season and this season was the release he has on the ball. Coach said his main goal was to get it off as quick as possible. And I think on that touchdown pass, you can absolutely see that. He doesn't take a whole lot of time to look around. He knows where he's going. It's a quick release, and it ends in a touchdown. So you can probably expect to see a lot from your precious Bishop Davenport, Tepper.
She's Ashley Pickle, and she's visiting Planet Ford Stadium before Matt Stepp ever has. She'll be with us with updates all night long. And Matt is with Ashley Pickle.
Coach, a critical stop there, and really your defense forcing 2 turnovers early on. How critical was it for them to set the tone for this game so far?
Oh, it was great to come out and get the interception return for a touchdown, always. And then I don't remember the second turnover, but if you say so, it was good too.
Offensively, your quarterback to Palamo has been just an unbelievable magnetic connection. What has allowed that success so far?
O-line and running backs are doing a fairly good job in pass protection, giving him time to throw. So, defenses, they can win by the blitz or die by the blitz. But I think we did that when they were playing more zone coverage.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, thank you.
Let's welcome in our friend Ashley Pickle, who is live on the scene there at Planet Ford Stadium in Spring. Pickle, let me ask you a little bit about this Westfield defense. They always pride themselves on a strong defense. They've got a number of outstanding alumni to come through that defensive line ranks. It seems like that may be the difference in this ball game tonight.
It really is, Tep. They are dominant up front, and that's what Coach Meekins was telling me earlier this week. He says it starts with those initial front four. If those front four can get pressure into the backfield, put a hand on the quarterback, he goes, then they're doing the job for 7 people, you know, and so that's what they really pride themselves on. They're big, physical guys up front. When you have Anthony Holmes Jr., their senior defensive tackle, or Virginia commit, out there leading that charge, and Coach said what helps so much with him being a leader of this defense is he's one of those guys, he's always pumping it in the weight room. He gets out there, he runs tons of sprints after practice, and he was like, it's the work mentality of being that workhorse and going, this is our job. Our job is to look at that guy across the line of scrimmage and say, you're not making it past us. And they have done just that tonight and really put a lot of pressure on Bishop Davenport, which a lot of his throws going either long or too short, and you've got to think it's because he's feeling that pressure from the defensive line being able to blitz off and get back in the backfield to him.
Well, and Pickle, you know that senior quarterback Cardell Williams will tell you that their defense fuels their offense. What have you made of Williams' performance tonight and some of the connections he's had, particularly one key target that he especially loves?
That one key target, Dejan Palamo, man, 3 different touchdowns in the first half connections. I'm not saying that these were like little curl routes. We've got 43 yards, 32 yards, and 44 yards. Just absolute dimes dropping into the backside of the end zone every time. And those two, the connection there is just magnetic. And that was a big focus for Westfield coming into the year, was replacing that receiving core, when last year they only had one returning starter from their good squad last year, and you take a look and it's like, man, what are we going to do? We've got this senior quarterback who can get the ball, but guys, who's going to catch it? And junior wide receiver Dejan Palamo has been outstanding tonight and has really been the difference maker on not only production on the field, but that guy is hyped on the sideline, Aaron.
Matt Meekins looking to rid the taste of what happened a year ago, and Ashley Pickle will be there for post-game reaction.
Our Ashley Pickle caught up with the dynamic duo themselves, Cardell Williams and Dejan Palamo.
All right, guys, man, y'all just have a magnetic connection tonight, connecting 3 different times in the end zone. What does this guy do for you out there?
Well, he just get open every time I need him to get open. I trust him. He tell me he's gonna get open before the play, and that's what I look at.
You were wide open back there all night. What led to that success, man?
The game plan and executing our plays.
To be able to come out here and beat a big rival like this, how does this win feel?
It feel good. It feel good to get my lick back from last year.
And then moving forward, I saw you hyped over there on the sideline. What does it mean to be able to bring your team up like that?
We know we have to stay energetic to keep who's ever on the field up. So that's how we just keep it up.
Appreciate it, guys. Go celebrate.
Thanks, man.
Spring came back, made it a ball game. They were in it late and there to witness it all. The Battle of Spring. Ashley Pickle joins us now. Some battle, huh, Ashley?
Man, Craig, you are absolutely right there. And the thing about this is when you have this much of a hyped up rivalry game, all 3 phases of the ball have to be going on all cylinders, and that's exactly what happened for Westfield tonight. From their punishing defensive line to the dynamic duo that was senior quarterback Cardell Williams and Dejan Palamo, the wide receiver, they were absolutely just dominant tonight.
You know, you watch a lot of film, that offense right there is one of the best offenses in the state, and their defense has been playing really well all year too. So just for our D-line to control the line of scrimmage up front and our offensive line to control it on the other side of the ball is why we were able to have some success tonight.
To be able to come out here and beat a big rival like this, how does this win feel?
It feel good. It feel good to get my lick back from last year.
And then moving forward, I saw you hyped over there on the sideline. What does it mean to be able to bring your team up like that?
We know we have to stay energetic to keep who's ever on the field up. So that's how we just keep it up.
Appreciate it, guys. Go celebrate.
Thanks, man.
Hey, guys, when I say that Dejan was hyped on the sideline, I mean, I was ready to run through a brick wall for that kid. Great performance here by Spring Westfield.
Yeah, and one thing that comes to mind in listening to those guys talk about it was a similar thing to what we heard in talking about Katie and Tompkins about getting one back. And that was the one thing Cardell was talking about, wanting to be able to balance the books from last year.
Absolutely. When you run District 14 6A for 8 years, they said, you know what? That district title runs through the Mustangs. To have Spring come back last year in that unbelievable Hail Mary they had to claim their first district title, there was no doubt there was revenge. And I don't know if you've ever spoken with Matt Meekins before, but that's a guy who's like, no, we're running it. This building right here, this is our building. And they came in tonight, Craig, and they just really proved that to be true. Just a full 48 minutes, and he said that to his team after the game, of that's what it takes to win these big games, and they came out and performed exactly what Coach asked them to all week in practice.
Ashley, I want to ask you about something we were talking about on Texas Football Today this week, and that was about the Spring Westfield defense. You know, they were up against a big-time playmaker in Bishop Davenport there in Spring, and it seemed like they ended up being, in many respects, the difference in this game, including that play late. What did you see from the Westfield defense tonight?
They are big, they are physical, and they just play really, really hard. That defensive line, Coach Meekins told me earlier this week, he goes, that's the catalyst of our team right there, which if you look back at history of Westfield teams, that's exactly how it should be, and while they're so successful. And when you have a quarterback and you're facing off against a guy like Bishop Davenport, you know that that guy's a bona fide stud back in the pocket, and that those defenders are going to have to be able to get around the edge and get back into that backfield to apply that pressure, because he's got an arm, he's got a plethora of receivers to throw to, and they did just that tonight. And when you're able to get those front four guys operating like that, makes it easy on the guys behind them, Tip.
Ash, wanted to ask you, you look at the record 16-3 against Spring. I mean, we kind of wonder, is that really a rivalry, winning 11 of the last 12 matchups between these two? But looking at Westfield, Field and what they've been able to do, these Mustangs, they beat Galena Park North Shore. Are you sensing a swagger with these guys and a special year for them?
Absolutely, and they had it up and down the sideline. They're the number 9 team in the state for a reason. We don't do those rankings for just anything. It means something, and they really took some pride in that. And like you said, you look at a matchup like this and the win percentage that Westfield has against Spring, and you think, how can that be a rivalry? Well, one, it's Texas high school football, and that's what makes it so great. I mean, just the want to own your town, to say, no, we're the team of Spring. So there's a lot of things that go into that, whether it's from us, the media, from the fans. But realistically speaking, these guys, they split their season up into 4 parts. You have non-district, district play, which they're in right now, and then playoffs. So while this win is great and you want to go out and you want to puff your chest and say that we're the town of Spring, what they're really looking for is to grab that number 1 seed heading into playoffs. And I will say real fast, as I was walking off the sideline, heard some of the Spring players talking about, man, we better move up in the rankings. And so I looked over and I was like, well, if you don't, it's at TEPPER on Twitter. You can send your complaints there, guys.
Come on, I thought you had more pull than that over there at Dave Campbell's. Thank you so much. Great job tonight.